Hey, Paul, thanks for your time.
No worries, Steve.
Hey, so what's it like preparing for this game against a team that, you guys haven't really, probably don't know a lot about before this tournament started? Has it been different in any way or more difficult?
No, Steve, no different at all, to be honest. I think, we're pretty clear on the way that we go about, the way that we play. And I've said it in the past, and I'll say it again, that, there's most of the focus is always on us and what we can do, to try and find ways to win games, to break down opponents, to defensively stay organized. So yeah, to be honest with you, it hasn't been too different. Obviously, the difference is that this is a semifinal, and obviously a must win for us in a game that we believe that we can really win.
Mike Craven.
Hey, Paul, I was just curious, for the game of soccer to keep growing in this country, how important is it to play in new places, and what is the buzz around Austin and Q2 Stadium?
Yeah, we're extremely excited to be here. This is the first time I've ever been in Austin, and I feel just kind of talking to a lot of people that this is the first time that they've been in Austin as well. Some of my family has even flown in because they want to know what Austin is all about. And for us, obviously, it's exciting, right? Today we were able to see the stadium, how beautiful it is. And yeah, I think we're really looking forward to the game, and we hope that the fans are going to give us a huge boost and help us win the game tomorrow.
Thanks. Hi, Paul. You're one of the more experienced guys on this squad, so I'm curious your take on the way that a number of young guys that have played big minutes have sort of been able to step up in this tournament. What have you seen that sort of stood out, and how important is this experience going to be in qualifying as a guy that has been in those games and knows what they're all about? Thank you.
Yeah, I think, Doug, there's been plenty of guys that have played significant minutes and have done really well, and have shown why they deserve to be a part of the national team going forward. And obviously for us, it's extremely important that everyone that comes in, we consistently bring this intensity and this willingness to continue to get better, to push, because that's how, as a country, we're going to continue to develop, and get us ready for qualifying, which is, this is obviously a part of it. Yeah, I think there's a lot of guys with a lot of potential, and it's extremely important for these guys to understand what these games are like. Because realistically, the way that we're going to see it is every game is crucial in qualifying, and at this point in the tournament, that's kind of, that's obviously how it is, because if you don't win, you go home. So it's great to see the guys be able to step up. Obviously, Matthew Hoppy last game was able to have a tremendous game. James Sands, Miles Robinson, these guys have been playing absolutely amazing, in the back. So for us, I think it's extremely important. But as we always say, we lean on everyone in the group, especially in a tournament format. So we're looking forward to tomorrow and getting off on the right foot.
Ryan Tolmich.
Hey, Paul, just kind of following up on that a little bit. When you're in a tournament, it's kind of about managing moments in a way. And when you have a young team, it could kind of be easy to lose track of that. You could be looking ahead too much, or you could be looking at what got you to this moment, or you could be overwhelmed by the moment, whatever it may be. With this team in particular, how do you think that they've handled that? And now as you kind of go into this semifinal with everything that's on the line, how do you think they're kind of coping with the road that got them there and kind of the road ahead?
Yeah, I think everyone's been pretty level-headed. This tournament, obviously, the last game was only my second game in the tournament, but even looking from the bench in the other two games in the group stage, we were really able to be really good doing different things and just living with what we have and the situation that we're in, and at times that could be very difficult, and that's where you can run into problems when you're not, when something doesn't go your way or something's unexpected. It's how you cope with it. And I think the way that we've been able to deal with that and deal with the adversity so far in this tournament has given us a lot of confidence going forward. So regardless of how we might start the game tomorrow, if it doesn't go our way, or if our plan isn't working, I'm really confident in this group to be able to grind out a result. and if everything goes great, then same thing. I think we'll be in good hands.
Simon Borg.
Hi, Paul. Thanks for the time. This is really a lot of people's first extended look at Qatar, and to see what they're about and how they play soccer. And I think a lot of people came away, surprised how entertaining they are, how creative they are, the players. What do you see as the most dangerous aspect of their game? They have players that seem they can, make something out of nothing, which is probably one of those aspects. But what do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. I think their offensive transition is the key. And for us, that'll be the key. How can we stop their offensive transition? They have real quality up front, and in the second lines to be able to do things in their offensive third. So for us, that's without a doubt, that's going to be the key to our game, is stopping them and obviously finishing our chances.
Hey, Greg, thanks for your time. What did you know about Qatar before this tournament, and what have you learned over the past 2 weeks watching and scouting them?
So back in 2019, I was able to go over there and meet with the coaching staff, spend some time with them, see Aspire, look at potential stadiums for the World Cup, and just get a feel for Doha in general. So I was pretty familiar with their setup, pretty familiar with what they do and their philosophy and their game model. But it's been nice to see it in action against CONCACAF teams. That's the great unknown is how's the game model going to translate against, difficult CONCACAF opponents. And I think they've been managing through it in a good way. And it's been nice to see.
Mike Craven.
Hey, Coach, for the growth of the game inside this country, specifically the U.S. men's national team, how nice is it to play in a new place? And I know you have some insiders in Josh and Sebastian, but what was the buzz coming into Austin, and what do you expect tomorrow night?
Yeah, I mean, it's, again, I've been ultra impressed with Austin as a soccer market. And then the organization of Austin FC, what they've been able to do with their training facility and the stadium, is unbelievable. We're hoping for the same atmosphere that we see for Austin games. The atmosphere is electric. I think it's one of the top atmospheres in Major League Soccer. And, when I was here for the opening game, and just really taken aback by how loud it is in the stadium and how passionate the fans are. And if we have that environment tomorrow, it's going to, help us win the game and help us advance to the final.
Douglas McIntyre.
Thanks. Hi, Greg. There's a number of young guys that have really stepped up in this tournament. Matthew Hoppe, Busio Sands, Miles Robinson, Shaq Moore. What's impressed you most about, their ability to sort of rise to the challenge, and how much is that going to help you, not just tomorrow, but on the road to Qatar? Thank you.
Thanks, Doug. This is exactly why we did this type of thing, and I hear some of the comments about, they're not playing great, or it's not the best roster, or this and that, and that doesn't concern me at all. What concerns me is the output and the energy that the guys are playing with, and the commitment that the guys are playing with. We've given up 1 goal so far in this tournament. We're in the semifinals now with this young group, and the resiliency and the relentlessness that they play with is a great example. It's a great example to the whole entire player pool, that when we step on the field, we want to win games, and they've been doing a very good job.
Ryan Tolmich.
Hey, Greg, looking at Qatar, you talked about them coming over here and adjusting well, but just looking at the attack and the numbers they've been able to put up, as well as anyone, when you play CONCACAF teams, it's not easy to just walk in and break a team down, regardless of talent level or situation or anything like that. How impressed have you been by the numbers they've been put on in the attack again, and how have they kind of done it? Is it the unfamiliarity? Is it the tactics? How have they kind of been able to go get goals like they have?
So I think 2 things that I'm seeing with Qatar, right, is the first thing is, they've been scoring goals. They've also been conceding goals, and but they have an exciting game model. It's heavily based on offensive transition. They haven't had the majority possession in 3 of their 4 games. But they're deadly on the counterattack. They have creative players. And the other thing I think is really special about Qatar is they're basically represented by 2 club teams. And, having an inside look on what they do, they almost operate like a club team. The guys come to aspire to do regen every week. So after their club team games, then they all meet up together and do regeneration in their facility there. They get to spend time with each other, look at the games, analyze it. It's a really unique model, and I'm excited to see how they, play in the World Cup, because they've really have a blueprint for how to prepare. With playing in Copa America, playing in European qualifying, playing Gold Cup, they really have gotten a sample of the entire world, basically.
Paul Tenorio.
Hey, Greg. Thank you for doing this. And what are the main challenges defensively against this team? I know Paul mentioned maybe offensive transition is where Qatar has been especially dangerous. What's been the message to defend against that? And then I wonder also if you could speak to the announcement today of USA Mexico in Cincinnati and why that venue and what it might mean for that rivalry game. Thank you.
Yeah. So, to start with Qatar, we highlighted one of the goals of our tournament was to be solid in defensive transition. And you saw in each and every game we played against Haiti, then Martinique and Canada, and then Jamaica. And all of those teams had elements of offensive transition. Canada had Buchanan, who's lightning quick. Haiti had their group with some speed in counterattack. Martinique had speed in counterattack with Fortune. And then Jamaica goes without saying, it's a very good transition group. So I think we're prepared. And that's the important thing, is that the guys have been experiencing that and they know what to expect. Now, stopping it is another thing. We know they have quality players. They have speed. They have technical players with a FIF. In my mind, he's probably
Coach, the mic first. No, please touch it. Yes, perfect. Thank you.
Is it on now?
Yeah.
Okay. I think when I start talking too much, it just goes off automatically. It's like my wife. This microphone's my wife. Just kidding. But so I was saying we have to be prepared in transition. And then regarding Cincinnati for the Mexico game, we took a hard look at all the venues. And I think one thing that was important was we're going to need every venue that we play in to have an absolute rocking crowd. We feel like we made some mistakes in the last qualifying cycle, particularly in the Costa Rica game, not having a crowd that was 100% US, and that's going to be extremely important. And when I look at some of the venues we've chosen already and what we'll continue to announce, I think it fits perfectly into what we're talking about. And Cincinnati in particular has good capacity stadium, brand new stadium. And I think it's going to be a fantastic venue to compete against Mexico.
Kyle Bonagura.
Hi, Greg. Wondering what the benefit is for the coaching staff to prepare for an unfamiliar opponent in a competitive atmosphere.
It's great. Yeah, it's great. We consider ourselves lucky. You have 2 options, right? You can play a team that you're gonna play in the octagon qualifying, which would have been nice also. But the second option is to play an opponent that you're not used to and really test our group. We're going to ask our guys to, go out of their comfort zone and compete against an unfamiliar opponent. And, we have a game plan set up and try to go out and execute that. And I think it's a great learning experience. They're definitely going to be in the next World Cup. We know that. And if we, end up qualifying, there's a potential to play them in the World Cup. So it's a great opportunity for this team.
Bob Balu.
Hey, Greg, just because I've got you here in Austin, I want to ask you real quick about Josh Wolf. Did you ever have a sense when you were playing with him that he would be a coach one day? Did you think that was something down his path? And just what is your take on him early on and the job he's doing here in Austin?
Yeah, Josh is one of the, the smartest technical minds that I've come across. Definitely in the United States. He's really astute, really reads the game well, understands the game well. We would have conversations when we were both players about tactics and about game models. And, it's no surprise he's in this position. As an assistant coach with me, I was lucky to have him, for 5+ years. Surprised I had him that long. Surprised that, he didn't get an opportunity sooner. But, he's a bright coach. And, it's always difficult with expansion teams. You're bringing in a lot of new players and, you need to get them to gel really quickly. But I'm sure that with time, this is going to be an excellent team in the league.
One last question with Chris Bills.
Yeah, Greg, I know you mentioned your trip to Qatar in 2019. Was there anything specifically that you took out of that visit that you've been able to implement here? I mean, I know what they're doing isn't super replicable, maybe anywhere in the world, but what can you take from what you experienced there and what you've seen from what they've built?
Well, first of all, they have a national training center, which I think is important. It's more complicated for us because of our geography. If you think about Doha, most of the teams being in Doha, and it's easy for guys to jump in a car and meet at the training facility to do regen after their games. So, one thing is it would be nice to have a national training center that we have access to, and that we could have all the national teams there and working together and all the coaches there. So that's one thing. The second thing that I've just been impressed with is their plan for getting competitive games. And, where, our focus now and my focus now is on qualifying for 2022 World Cup, but looking forward into 2026, the team is going to be put in a position where they don't have to qualify. And it's how do you get those competitive games? And that's what I've been impressed with the most is, them participating in tournaments like this. And, it's not the first time, right? We had South Korea play in the Gold Cup before the 2002 World Cup. So it's something that could be done. And perhaps it's a question to ask, the U.S. Soccer Federation if they're prepared to enter the U.S. men's team in tournaments like that.